What are 3 red flags in a woman?
If she is overly social or has a bunch of male friends, that's the first thing. That's obviously a massive red flag for obvious reasons. If she's very aggressive, hyper-aggressive or hyper-masculine, that's definitely a red flag. Some women, especially in the Western world, are becoming like that.
Yeah.
And if she believes in any of this feminist ideal garbage, and when I say feminist, I don't mean everyone believes that women should be able to have an opinion on certain things and believe that women should be able to drive or whatever. That's fine. But when I mean like full age, full crazy feminists like the West, that's a massive red. Women will sit there and do something they think is innocent. They'll talk about traveling. I've been to here and I've been to there and I loved when I saw this. My favorite place is this. When you sit with a dude on a first date and tell him how many places you've been, all he's thinking is you've been fucked.
Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to go over the worst red flags you need to look out for in modern-day women. For this purpose, I'm going to use a story I read on a blog online. Without further ado, let's get into it. To be specific, Jack practices neurosurgery in Atlanta. He had met his future ex-wife during his time in medical school. He was 22 years old and a Harvard graduate. To put it simply, she was his first serious relationship. There were a number of warning signs, according to Jack. She clearly had father issues, as well as borderline personality disorder. While she was in college, her father spent 4 years in federal prison for bank fraud. It won't take long for you to realize that fruit usually returns to its source. She probably held her life to the standard of the dysfunctional family with whom she grew up. Between the ages of 7 and 9, the bulk of a child's growth and development occurs. Let us return to the tale. Jack is a really bright man. Now he's a trained neurosurgeon after graduating from medical school. His intuition warned him something was up, yet he kept buying her explanations for the lies she said. She reportedly insisted on having their first sexual encounter a month after Jack first met her, when he was 22 years old, and then asked that they be married straight away because he had taken her purity. When they first met, she told him she was untouched by a man, but later she admitted that she had been with 4 other men before they met. According to Jack, he learned about this only before the ceremony. It was at that time that he should have called off the wedding, but he didn't. Before the wedding, when he got the news, his intuition told him something, but he ignored it. Her downward spiral was justified by the fact that she had been raped. Jack said that he has 2 boys with her, aged 21 and 19. When their first child was born, she quickly turned into an extremely aggressive partner. He would have understood what kind of woman she is if he had dated her for just a little longer. Men, if you want to know what a woman is made of before marching her off to the gallows of marriage, you should date her for at least 2 years. Jack had a very brief 2-month relationship with that woman. Since Jack was still in training when his wife obtained her first job as a dermatologist at Johns Hopkins, she began to criticize him and use her position as the family breadwinner to intimidate him into submission. Even after moving and Jack establishing himself professionally as a neurosurgeon, the harassment continued. Despite everything, Jack was still able to have a strong bond with his boys. After another decade or so, Jack had finally had enough and began making arrangements, at least in his mind, to leave her discreetly, get a divorce, and go on with his life. Jack's wife left her email open on the family computer. Jack saw this when he went to look for Disneyland tickets for the kids in the middle of 2013. He uncovered a folder containing her adult content with another man. When he heard that, his mouth fell open. His wife, who liked to portray herself as holy and pious, was always criticizing the length of the skirts worn by other women and girls at his children's school. Despite being married to him and assaulting him, she was having sexual relations with other men. Jack says he tried to get a divorce from her, but every time he brought up the subject, she threatened to end herself. Most men in his position would have just walked away, but he didn't. For another 18 months, he remained, tortured for 18 whole months. After she said she overdosed on benzos, Jack moved back into the house from his apartment. They reached a deal after their wedding that allowed her to keep the $6 million home without paying a mortgage for the next 10 years. Despite the fact that he was responsible for half the bill, she was awarded primary custody and enough money to see her children through high school. Schedule permitting, he was to spend time with the kids after school and on weekends. When Jack discovered in 2015 that she was still having an affair, he immediately filed for divorce. After giving that woman almost all he owned, he left the mansion and moved into a modest apartment. She quickly started making up stories to explain Dad's departure to the kids. When Jack's ex-wife notified friends and family that they were getting back together, he felt depressed and practically despairing. Let's jump the gun a little bit. Jack's ex-wife claimed that he attacked their 16-year-old son when he was attending tennis camp. His ex-wife had brought charges against him, and the fear of a criminal trial had been used to get a $6.5 million settlement out of him. After Jack wouldn't give in, the case went to trial, where she made up a story that he threatened to show her the adult content if she didn't agree to a unilateral divorce. They knew she was trying to extort him, yet the law and DHS did nothing. No action was taken despite overwhelming evidence and witness testimony. After stealing $800,000 from his business and engaging in X-rated activity with another man, while Jack was buying Disneyland tickets for the family, Jack's wife is now demanding a settlement of $6.5 million. Throughout the 5-year divorce process, Jack spent $3 million on legal bills. A crazy woman will exhaust all possible options in her quest to destroy a decent man's life. In family court, any woman may completely ruin a man's life. You must realize that not all women are capable of doing it, but that any woman can. One may learn a few things from this, as rule number 1, a man shouldn't tie the knot before he's 33. Second, knowledge of BPD should be common among males. No matter how much you love the kids, you must never stay in an unhappy marriage with a crazy woman. 4, every man should have a prenuptial agreement signed. Stay safe, kings. That's all for today. If you found value in this video, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe button to get more dope content like this every day. Till next time.